Hi, this is Mariano from Fabric. In this screencast I will show you how to build a dashboard to display the current Bitcoin value. This screencast covers the same information available on the tutorials section, the Bitcoin dashboard tutorial from the Event Fabric documentation. That it's available under eventfabric.github.io, so you can follow it there if you want to build it yourself. In this case we will build something like this. It's a simple dashboard that displays a chart with the value of Bitcoin over time, 3 odometers displaying the 3 available information on the data source, and a new sticker displaying the historic values for each one. The information comes from the public datasets from Firebase. In this case, the Bitcoin value, which is an object with 3 fields: ask, bid, and last. So let's start to build it. For it, I will create a new dashboard. First, let's go into presentation mode. I will create a new dashboard. I will name it Bitcoin dashboard. And I need the standard widgets and the Firebase source, so I select both and click create. We start with an empty dashboard and we go to the top right and click edit. Here we have the editor canvas where we will start with a source. We just drag and drop a new source to create a new one. I double click on the label to give it a name. Let's name it Bitcoin value. Now I can right click and see the actions available for the element. In this case I will go to settings. I will select the Firebase type, and it asks for some information. First, the URL for the object I want to observe. In this case I copied from the other tab. Then I have to set the type. Now we provide 2 types, value and child added. Those are described on the documentation from Firebase. Value is generates an event every time the value we are observing changes, and if what we are observing is a collection, the child added type will generate an event every time a new element is added to the collection. We will select the wrap data to have an event with the same shape of the standard Event Fabric event. And since we are wrapping it, we need a channel, in this case Bitcoin, and a user, in this case our username, and click OK. And we see a bubble appears on the bottom right saying that there's a new value for the object we are observing. We can see we have the username we provided, the channel, and the timestamp when the event was generated. And on the value field of the event we have the object we saw before with 3 fields: ask, bid, and last. And the values, we can see from the fact that they are green and italic that they are text. Blue and bold are numbers. This will come handy later. So we want to display, for example, the bid value on something like an odometer. So I will create a new widget by dragging one, right click on it. We can see the actions. Let's go to settings. We select the type of the widget we want, in this case odometer, and leave the settings as defaults. But the odometer expects at least two values to display something. One is the value of the number it has to display, and the other one is the label. So we need a transformer to transform the incoming event into what the widget expects. So we drag a transformer and go to settings. We have an empty canvas here. If we expand the widget templates, we can see templates for all the widgets. We expand the odometer and we see we can set the value, the label, and the action. So we will set the value and the label. The value for the label will be bid, and the value will be the bid field on the value object. So we get the value field. but the bid field on the value, but since I already said this text, we need to convert it to a number. So we expand the text section, and we can see here we have a block that says to decimal. So we will set the val output variable to the value of the bid field on the value object, converting it to decimal. So we start with that, but first, of course, we need to connect the source to the transformer and the transformer to the widget to make it work. And when a new event, when the Bitcoin value changes, it will generate a new event here, which will go to the transformer and then to the widget. It happened now. We can see this is the event we received on the left of the transformer, and if we click on the right, we can see that two new fields were added at the bottom, val and label. We can see here that val is blue, so it's a number. It was transformed to a number from the bid field here, and the label is bid. If we close here, we can see our widget that every time that receives a new value will change. So we will do the same for ask and last. So we will drag a transformer, right click on it, let's take it from here. The template section has common used blocks but that are generic, not for a specific widget. So we set the value to the ask field, and the label we go to text and say to ask. We will need a new widget for that. Let's name it ask value. We connect the transformer, and now we have to set the type of the widget to autometer. Leave it at defaults, and we will do the same for the last field. Set the type again to odometer, settings as default, connect everything. Oops. And now we have to set the transformer again. We can do it by hand too, getting each block from the sections here. We can also remove blocks by selecting the block and hitting delete, as I did just before. So now we have 3 widgets displaying the 3 fields as before. Let's move them a little bit. And now let's move to the chart. So we can reuse what we already have, since the chart widget also expects 2 fields, val for the value to display and label to know which series it's updating. So we will just have to create a new widget. Let's title it chart, click on settings and set it to chart, click OK. We will leave everything as default but select the show legend, because we want to know what each color means. And we will connect the same transformer as before to avoid having to define them again. Let's move this a little bit, and now when a new value comes, our chart should start displaying information. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So now we have some data and our chart has some data, but we still need to create a new sticker, so this will be a little bit different. For this we need, of course, to create a new sticker widget. Let's name it ticker. Go to settings, say it's a new sticker, and we want to display the date for each section, and we want to use Markdown, which is a lightweight markup language to give format to data. So what we will do now is we want to reuse the logic by these three transformers, and we don't want to connect the three transformers to this because it will be a mess. So what we will do is we will click on the connection and cut it, and we will use the hub, which is just a way to organize connections. So we will connect the three transformers to the hub, and the hub to the chart and also to the transformer. In this transformer, what we will do is, if we go to widget templates and new sticker, we can see we need just val. So we will do this. In this case, what we will display is something like ask, colon, space, and the value. So we will need at least three items. The last one will be the output variable that we set before, val. So the new val will be the result of creating text with the old val. It's a little bit convoluted, but we are trying to reuse our transformers to the max. And the name of the action, we will take it from the label that we set on the other transformers, and in the middle will be put colon space. But let's see if I can show it to you. The new sticker has a special behavior when the label field is set. It will look for an entry with that label, and instead of appending a new value, we'll update that one. That's not what we want. So what we want to do is, if you see, if it changes again, it will update in place for each one. Let's hope the Bitcoin value updates. See, no new entries were appended. So what we want to do is, we want to remove the label from the event, so the new sticker doesn't see it. And we have a block for that, delete out var, and we will clean the label. Let's hope a new event comes in. Let's see. Lately, even Bitcoin is trading a lot, so it should be changing values quite fast. Another thing we can do is, if we go to the top left, we can see the cursor changes. If we double click here, we can set the title, so Bitcoin value over time, and we can set here in the new sticker to Bitcoin latest updates. And lastly, when we are finished, we go to the bottom left and click lock, and we have our dashboard finished. As I said before, now you can see that it's kind of a stack. The new events come to the top. If we go to edit, we can see that on the left the received event has the label, and on the right we can see that label is no longer there. So that's useful to know. So now we click lock, and we have our dashboard finished, ready to be displayed to follow the values of Bitcoin. This is all for this screencast. As I said, this is all described in detail on the documentation that it's available online, so you can follow and try to build it for yourself. I hope it was useful, and if you have some feedback, just look for us, and we are more than pleased to hear your opinions. See you in the next screencast. Bye.